Dynamic time has come. I believe many of you have been waiting for this time. We are on this topic, domestic violence, current trends and updates. And our guests today are people from renowned institutes, and we have brought them so that they can tell us the current trends, as we all know that the issue of domestic violence is something that is international. It's not something that belongs to a certain ethnic group or the migrant community. It is something international. So it is not good, and we want to talk about it with a hope of finding solution. So our panelists here, we have Sheela, who is the president of Lotus and Tulip. Sheela has Ugandan, Indian and Dutch roots. She was born in Uganda. She holds a master's degree in anthropology and a postgraduate in administration. She is a trainer and consultant and had done projects in the health sector in taboo subjects like mental health and domestic violence. She owns Lotus and Tulip, an organization for service, project and process management, training, career and life coaching. Her core values are integrity, compassion, and reliability. Of course, all of you Radio Voice of Nigeria listeners, we have been with Sheela Vyas, and we are so fond of her. So help me this morning and receive Miss Sheela. Sheela, can you say hello to our listeners?
Hello, good morning, listeners. I'm very happy to be here again, together with Helen and Larry and the other colleagues from the Steunpunt Huiselijk Geweld. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay, you are welcome, Sheela. You always, we always feel at home with you. And our second panelist, who also I happen to like this young woman, very dynamic. She is no other person but our own Tuğba Pantelis. Is a network coordinator between domestic violence victims and help organizations. She currently is working for Steunpunt Huiselijk Geweld, Amsterdam, an organization offering support for domestic violent victim. Tuğba, please say hello to our listeners, and if there are other things you want to say about yourself, please go on, honey.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here and tell something about domestic violence.
Yeah.
And about what we do.
Yes, all right. Okay, and our third guest is a friend and a colleague of Tuğba. Please, can you introduce yourself to our guest? And please, feel free. We love you.
Thank you for inviting me. My name is Clementine Huisman, and I'm also a network coordinator of het Steunpunt Huiselijk Geweld, Amsterdam.
Wow. All right. I believe you work with those other friends of ours. Safura and
Yes.
Do you know them?
Yes, very well.
Oh, okay. We've had a couple of programs.
We are colleagues for a long time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, actually.
Sharina, Safura.
Even we had information section with them, and it was very, very powerful. It was very dynamic. Well, welcome to Radio Voice of Nigeria, ladies. On diverse fronts, efforts have been made towards improving domestic relations, and it is worth revisiting the issues in order to assess how much progress has been made. To help us accomplish this, we will engage the expertise of two Miss Sheela Vyas and also Tuğba Pantelis and also Clementina, so that they can tell us more on this issue on domestic violence. So just to remind ourselves, what do we actually mean by the term domestic violence?
Domestic violence is defined as a pattern of abusive behaviors by one person against another in an intimate relationship such as marriage, dating, family or cohabitation. And it's a very complicated subject and has many different forms, including physical aggression or assault, like hitting, kicking, biting, restraining, or threats thereof, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, controlling or domineering, intimidation, stalking, that's a very important one.
And what do you mean by controlling and emotional and stopping, because we are talking to the grassroots, and it would be very nice that we come really to their level so that they can know what we are talking.
Yes. Well, if your partner is very controlling you,
Yeah.
like he's looking into your phone every day.
Looking into your phone.
Yes, and he's telling you not to go outside, or he's asking all the time, who are your friends, where are you going, what time will you be at home, and telling you when to go outside and when not to go outside. Something like that.
Wow. Really? Do you have anything to add to it? Any of you? Do you agree? Other ladies?
Yeah.
Is that what it is, Sheela?
Yeah, this about it. What I would like to add is that it can also be not very blunt, not very straightforward, that you don't even know that a person is controlling you. And I think that's something to be more conscious of, is that you think that your husband, your friend, isn't doing anything, and in the meanwhile the person is trying to get more and more influence in your life, yeah, in your way of thinking, your way of doing.
How do they do that? Because you said not being direct. How do they do that?
Yes, that can be in a sneaky way. That's that you don't even know that they're controlling your phone calls or the people you talk to or people you meet. But it can also be, say, very subtle by continuously also saying that they do care about you, etc.
Yes.
And that's where people can get confused and say, oh no, there's no control over me. The person likes me, and we talk about many other things which we do have in common. So it doesn't have to be very direct. That's what I wanted to point
Exactly.
out.
I can see Clementina, you want to say something.
Yes.
Yeah, eagerly.
Yeah, I think what's also important is to realize that the controlling thing goes slowly.
Slowly.
In the beginning, both couples are in love,
Yeah.
and they have the pink glasses on, and you like everything,
Yeah.
and sometimes slowly you get stuck into something that you don't want. And when that takes time,
Yes.
it could be happen that you are not conscious.
Conscious, yes. About the control.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah,
And sometimes in years it goes
It
bigger
builds
and
up.
bigger, and then you think it's normal and you get used of it.
And the effect of that becomes what?
Exactly.
No, the effect becomes what? When they are controlling you in this sneaky way.
You get smaller, and you don't have your.
Oh, you diminish.
Freedom.
Yeah, your freedom, your
Yeah.
identity.
Exactly.
I mean,
You
At
lost
a-
your identity
Yes.
and your freedom. Yeah.
at a certain level, you don't know who is you and who is the other. Yeah.
Yes.
And being in Holland, being in a foreign country, also for our listeners,
Yeah.
it is. It is a situation which can come gradually, as Clementine is saying, and that people don't have a choice. They don't have friends. They don't have papers. Yeah, they're not independent in other ways. So they also reach a stadium that they have to accept that. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
Really?
yeah. And if you're conscious of that and you know how to go about it, to talk about it, and at least see to it that you don't remain in a circle of being isolated from others, not knowing how to go about it, then you're in a very difficult situation. And I'm sure the ladies here,
Yeah.
our colleagues, can tell more about it, what their organization or people
Yes.
like them can do.
Yeah, that's what, yes, we will be going to that discussion in some few minutes. But, you know, I love what, Clementina, I love what you said. You said people put up the pinky glass, that's what I heard. And then they pretend and talking love, then all of a sudden, subtly, they dive into control. And then the effect becomes that they separate the... Now, my question is it the man controlling the woman or is it the woman controlling the man?
Both.
Can you say it loud?
Both. Both is possible.
So, do you mean that a lady can also do that to the husband?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, because when you think of domestic violence, most of the people think that's violence between a man who's hitting or abusing his wife. But it's not always like that. Domestic violence...
Close your microphone, Tuğba, please. Yes,
okay.
and also Clementina, please. Adjust yourself, your seat,
Okay.
so that you can speak freely, please.
But like I said, domestic violence is not always between a man who's beating and hitting his wife, but
Yeah.
it's also elder abuse, child abuse, honor-related violence, female genital mutilation. It's also domestic violence.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's not always violence between a man and a woman.
Yeah, it can be parents to children.
Yes, and also children to their parents.
So, would you tell our listeners what is your job in your company?
Yes, well, like I said, I work for Steunpunt Huiselijk Geweld.
Yes.
I want to say about that very shortly, because last year we had a little reorganization and some things changed in our organization.
Mm-hmm.
Before we had 7 different offices spread in Amsterdam,
Yeah.
which was one in Southeast.
Yeah.
But after the reorganization, it all centralized to one central point. So we all work from one central point for whole Amsterdam. And I can say that we are the experts in the field of domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
And have a view on every area of Amsterdam. So it's not only Southeast,
Okay.
but also West, Centrum, North, South and New West.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have a telephone department where all the phone calls comes in. And we have each day 2 or 3 social workers who are listening to all the stories. So everyone who has questions about domestic violence and seeks for help can call with us.
Yeah.
Our social workers answer the questions that you have about domestic violence and can give you information and advice.
But all of these protocols, because what we want to do is to be able to get to the people. Is it working? Because if somebody who is being terribly beaten is somewhere out there and then looking for just immediate response, so they go through all of this bureaucracy you are telling me?
Well, it's not a lot of bureaucracy. The only thing that you have to do is to call us. And I want to give our telephone number. That's 020 611 6022. And I know that it can cost you a lot before you get the phone and call us, but it is very important to seek help, because when you do call us, you can get the help immediately. And the violence and the professionals that can help you are focusing on that the violence has to stop. So it's not always that you have to divorce or you go to a shelter.
No.
It's the most important thing is that the violence has to stop.
Exactly, and that's what we want.
Yes.
Right. You want to add to that, Clementina? Yes.
What I want to say is...
Come close to your microphone, baby.
I want to say that even when you are not sure about it, you just want advice. You don't want... you have some stomach feeling something is wrong. Then it's also important just to phone us.
Yeah.
611 6022.
Mm-hmm.
And just to talk with someone. Hey, I have this feeling. Can you give me advice? And it doesn't mean you need. If you don't want, you don't need immediately someone who help you. First, you can just talk about it, and then you can think how I feel, and then slowly you start into this consciousness.
And it's also important to say that everybody can call us, so not only victims or people who use domestic violence, but also friends, family, professionals, everyone who has questions about domestic violence can reach us.
All right. Well, listeners out there, you have heard it that these professionals are telling you that you can reach them and you are free to call. You don't need to become a victim before you call, but just if you see symptoms of this control, domineering, talking harshly, beating and kicking and brawling, if you see some of these symptoms and you think that things are about to get out of hand, just pick up your phone and give a call on 020-611-6022. Call them and they are going to talk to you. We want to hear a little bit from what Sheela also does. What do you do, Sheela?
Well, at present, I'm not doing a project on domestic violence, but I can say that being involved in this field of work, it hasn't left my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to add to what colleagues are saying here, definitely you should phone, and the number they are mentioning is also to be reached continuously day and night, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is 24 hours. And
Yes.
But on the other hand, like we had this campaign going on a few years back in Amsterdam Southeast, it wasn't a luxury because many people are not in a state, don't have the courage or the means to get out of the box of their mind, but also out of their houses. And I'm sure the Steunpunt Huiselijk Geweld, but also organizations of the people, of the communities themselves, together, they can see to it that more attention is given to this subject, because underlining the subject, you have this taboo. If I'm undergoing domestic violence at home, I feel ashamed.
Exactly.
You know, so I will not get out very quickly.
Yes.
Although we would all like people to do that, there is something more to it, and we should, as Tuğba was saying, we should, even if it's our neighbor or friend, in our surroundings, people undergoing domestic violence, we can stand up for them and also get more information for them. So that is, that's part of my work, I would say. Everywhere I can get an opportunity, I keep on emphasizing that the organizations dealing with this subject are doing their job. Well,
I have so many questions to still ask because I don't want to dwell only on. I have some real practical questions to ask. So and I believe that our listeners out there, they will really like that. I represent them very, very, very well. Now, are there any indication of changes in the situation comparing to last few years, based on all of these things you people are doing? And then are there some changes, or the ratios, are they increasing or are they reducing?
Well, I can't say it is increasing or the other way.
Yeah, reducing.
Yes, reducing. But what I can say is that people can find us. Because our job is also that we give a lot of information, presentations, to go out and tell something about domestic violence, how it works, and how they can reach help to stop the violence. And it works. We can tell that people are calling us every day for getting help or for just getting an advice or information.
Okay.
So we are.
You're on the process.
Yes, we are on the process.
You are, so you don't have any ratio, like how well have we done in our collective fight to reduce the incidence and effect of domestic violence? How well? How can you? Because I'm not convinced. Really, I'm sorry. I'm not really convinced, because if people are calling you, we would like to know the ratio. I mean, like last year we had 90, or this year it has reduced drastically. Then we can know. We can be sure that we are really doing our best to put a stop to this violence. So would you say that the collectively, all of you who are involved in this, I mean from different organizations, that you are successful?
What I know, in this field is that having numbers is a very difficult thing, because the reorganization Tuğba was talking about, it gives you another statistics. The statistics come from police also, yes, and a few different input, but generally speaking, I would say, if we know the figures that 1 out of 5 persons who have in Holland have been dealing with domestic violence in their life, at least once in their life, that's quite a high figure.
Yes.
And now that we are working more at the consciousness level, and there's more help, generally speaking, you would expect that people go more to the services, yes? So, and what I would like to say from what I observe is that the policy and the work done in this field is getting more intense.
Okay.
Yeah? So that's a positive side. That doesn't, and then when more people would come at the services, it doesn't have to be that the violence is getting bigger, but that more people are getting to it. But that needs research of a long term, and I don't think that's available so far.
And,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No. I think it's also important. Last years we realized that all the organization has worked more together.
Yes.
All the Keten partners. When they work together, and they all realize domestic violence is just not a problem of hitting, but we have to look to the main reason. What's behind the reason?
Yes,
the
of
violence, the hitting.
Yeah.
And these days we all realize that the consciousness of all this organization is getting more working together.
Wow.
Yes.
So that's good news then.
Yes.
That's good. Isn't it?
Yes, it is, because, like I said before, domestic violence is a very complicated subject. It's not always just the violence. It's also alcohol, or it's financial problems.
Financial?
Yes, I mean, people are also hitting because they're having financial problems.
Yes.
And you know, all that kind of difficulties, all that kind of problems may cause the violence, in your relationship.
Exactly.
So that's why, I mean, that's also a reason why it's very difficult to get real numbers.
Yeah, okay.
I want to feel something very important, that people who have children have to realize when the parents, for example, the traditional way, who have the violence thing in a relationship.
That's through the microphone, yes.
Yeah, that the children who are victim of the violence, that has influence of their development. And that's important for parents to realize, that when the children are sleeping and you think, okay, we have a fight together, the children are in bed, they don't hear it, or they don't, but
the influence
is very big for the development, and I think that we have to realize also.
So how do they get to know if it is that their parents have locked them somewhere, or locked the children somewhere, and then they are having their quarrel? How do the children get to know?
They can feel the atmosphere in the house.
Yes.
And that's very important. Even if they can't hear anything, they can feel it.
The tension, yes.
Yes, because children are very sensitive.
Yes.
For that kind of atmosphere.
Well, somebody out there listening to us, give us a call on 020-737-1619. We are discussing on this controversial topic, domestic violence. We want peace in our homes. So give us a call and make your voice known. Tell us what you feel. Give us your suggestions. Even if you don't have any domestic problem, please, for the sake of your neighbor and for the sake of our environment. I believe that somehow we have come in contact with people who have some of these problems. So in case you want to make some contributions, give us a call on 020-737-1619 right here in the studio. These professionals are going to tackle with that problem bothering your life. All right, we go on. Are there any new approaches or strategies at the moment towards reducing this problem? Yes, ladies?
Yes.
Yes.
There are a few, but let me start at one. We have system-oriented work. That's oh no, I'm sorry. I mean the workforce method. That's a new way of approaching, because the workforce method.
What do you call it?
Workforce method.
Workforce method.
Yes, and let me explain. That's a method for clients of domestic violence to support them, so they can participate fully in our society again. And workforce supports clients in their process to safely and as independently as possible live for themselves and their children. And it has known 6 principles. The first one is the focus on the individual strengths and not on the weaknesses. That's what the workforce method is. And the second one is that clients have the ability to restore their lives back onto address and change. The client has control over the supervision, over the help that they get. The relationship between clients and counselors comes in first place. Working in the natural environment, so also talk about the problems in their home situation. And the society is an oasis of resources. But the main how do I say that? The main
strategy.
Yes, the main strategy of the workforce method is that you can recover by yourself, by your own strengths. To focus on what your strengths are, and forget the weaknesses.
Okay, what are you saying here that the effect or the impact of domestic violence leaves one in a vulnerable situation or in a situation where she loses her self-confidence? That's why you're talking about recovery.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, and you have to search where the strengths of the people are. I mean, some people have the strengths in their environment, like family. They have a very tight family where they put their energy off. And some people have their own talents, have their own skills, what you can use to recover again.
You see, I'm looking at you in a very startled manner, because sometimes when we talk about it from the peripheral point of view, you just look at it like something, but I think it has a damaging effect.
Very much.
Wow, it has a damaging effect. Hello, caller. Yeah, please, can you speak louder a little bit?
It's okay. It's not working well. Try and listen. Let's try and listen.
Did you hear the question, ladies? She complimented you, and then she wants to know if...
A friend?
Yeah, can you talk to us?
Go on.
Okay. What did you hear?
I hear something.
Please speak through the microphone so they can hear
She
you.
don't want to be in contact with the family, but the friend wants some help. That's what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for her that she is phoning the number 6116
Yeah.
6022.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also possible the friend can tell the story anonymous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anonymously. Yeah.
How do you say that?
Anonymously.
Yeah.
Anonymously, yes.
Yeah. So that's the first step. And then slowly she gives the moment that if she wants to make an appointment and she wants to show who she is, that's her process.
Clementina,
Yes.
would you please draw your seat close, because our listeners are not hearing you.
Yeah.
I hope that is not domestic violence too. Yeah, because you're making a very good point, but we don't hear you because your microphone is too low here.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I also heard her asking a question about the police. I think that she asked, she wants help, but she don't want
the police to know.
Yes.
She doesn't want the police to go there.
Yes, if I heard it correctly.
Yes.
Well, no, that we work together with the police, but it's not always a standard that someone calls us. If someone calls us, we always calls the police. It's not always like that. We screen the situation, the story that someone is telling us, and we organize help. And if it's possible, or if it's needing to call the police to get help, then we have to do that. But like I said, it's not always. It's not a standard process.
Okay, Sheela, what do you have to say?
Well, I recognize this situation because it has been stated more often, and I think if it's your friend or your neighbor and you can get to that step to get them more conscious of their own situation and tell them that you are also willing to support them. Yes, as Tuğba was saying, you can, many times the confidence of the person has been broken down, so it is a very difficult position to start accepting help. Plus, what was just mentioned about the police is also another aspect, is when there are children involved, that people think if I have my case out there, people will come and take my child away, or my children away.
Exactly.
And in most of the cases, it is not what people are going to do, but it's the fear you have, yeah? So you have to be very realistic in what you are doing by not taking the help or asking for help. So when people get to the Steunpunt Huiselijk Geweld, it's not their intention to get the police and everybody together, but they're, as said earlier, they would like the violence to stop, and that's what you also want to stop. What I would like to add to this case, or any case, is that the people surrounding the person or the family where this violence is taking place, because they have this personal relationship, can also do some work by letting the people think about their own situation. Is this what you want? Generally, we don't want violence in our home, but it is a situation which has been going on, and then you don't know where to stop. So if a friend or a colleague or a neighbor can get through that message, I think we have a very good start to get to the organizations who are willing to help.
Yeah, I believe I do understand the emotion of the caller. You know, if even if you are not calling for yourself, but you want to call because your neighbors are into this, some of the people maybe are not documented, and then if they will call the police, so it may seem now as if they have tried to intimidate somebody who is not well documented. So I believe that is why they have the fear of not calling the police.
Yes, that's true.
Don't you think so?
Yeah.
That should be.
That could be the situation.
And also, you know, in a relationship, these women who are, or these people who are victims, always go about making more excuses, like, okay, he's gonna change, change. They go about hoping on things that wouldn't work.
But something important, when what you said, from he's gonna change, but what's also kind of help we have is that the situation like that we also, that traditional thing, the husband beat the man, the woman. We are also for the man. We also can find help for the husband.
Yes.
And also for the whole system.
Okay.
So we are not an organization that we point that okay, the husband is the
perpetrator.
But it's a situation between man and woman, and it goes around the domestic violence. It's the domestic violence goes. You cannot say only the man is
the problem.
Is the problem? No, it's a situation what exists through years.
Yes.
So also we have help for the husband.
Yes, because men are physically stronger than women, so they can use physical violence.
Yeah.
But women are
Using their mouth.
Yes, and they can yell, or they can use bad words, you know, something like that, to intimidate their husband. So violence is like it's between. It's not always one victim and one person who uses the violence.
Both of them are doing it.
Yes.
I don't know, because nobody just sits, I'm Sakimbo, and then you are yelling at the person.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Well,
I'm sorry, but what I want to add, because you said earlier that women are also hoping, oh, he will change.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a phase for now, but you can't always think like that.
Yes.
Especially when you have children, because when you have children, you have also the responsibility.
Yes.
To first, you have first the responsibility to have your children safe, and then to the responsibility of yourself. Because if you have children, you have to think the other way. It's not that you have to think, oh, it's just violence between myself and my husband.
Yeah.
But it's violence in the whole system.
Yes.
And that's why we are seeking help for the whole system.
Yes.
Yes. That is very good. Well, we are going to take a short break now, and we will come back shortly. But listeners out there, we hope this message is reaching you, and we would like you to give us a call, even during this break. Give us a call on 020-737-1619 and say what your heart tells you regarding this issue. Stay tuned. The indigenous. No, you want to know whether this program is only for the migrants? No, it is for domestic violence. It's for
everybody.
Yes, you can. It's for everyone.
Yes.
Is there any reason? Oh, okay. Yes, that's what she wants to know. Does it happen more in the migrant community, especially African community or the white community? Please, you see, that's why we wanted to know some ratios, because you have to tell us something, since you are coming from you have the facts. We believe you have the facts, so we want to know from your findings, because people are calling you.
Yeah, I think that I have been studying this subject, and what I found is there's this professor at the Free University, Professor Horasi, and she was interviewed on the topic of domestic violence, and what she said is that domestic violence can be there more in migrant communities. It doesn't have to be, it can be, because they have to deal more with the official papers. Yes, they don't have a permit to stay here. That gives frustration. Maybe they don't have the education level which is needed to get a job out there. Yes, so there are extra factors concerning migrant communities. And we also don't have to forget that the empowerment position of women, and also the youth, how they go about with their parents, has changed a lot. And that can cause tension. That doesn't have to be violence, but that can be a step before violence. And if you don't watch out, violence is there, just around the corner. So these are factors which definitely contribute to more violence in the migrant communities.
I believe you are right. Well, we are going to take a short break now, and then we'll resume again.